Contenders today. We got the AFC edition. So first we're gonna talk about the Dolphins. Okay, they're 9-4 with the second best record in the AFC, but they're 0-3 against teams over 500. So they've played really well against bad teams, but they can't seem to beat good teams. And on top of that, they just lost to the previously 4-8, now 5-8 Tennessee Titans at home. So even with a healthy roster, they can't seem to pull big games out. Okay, they haven't beat any good teams. They haven't beat any good teams, which you will come across in the playoffs. That's why not everybody makes it. Only the best make the playoffs. And if you can't beat the best, you're not going to move on. But their biggest problem now is now Tyreek Hill has an ankle injury, which could possibly linger on for the rest of the season. And he's absolutely pivotal for this Miami team. Without Tyreek Hill, this team's not going anywhere. So they're pretenders. Next, the Bills. They're 7-6 now, and they're second in division behind Miami. And they just came off a shocking upset win over Kansas City, which is really going to keep them afloat in this tight AFC playoff race. The Bills are contenders. Okay, they have just as full a roster as the Dolphins. And to me, they are a much scarier team in the playoffs. They are a team that you really do not want to see in the playoffs. I don't care what team you are. This is a team, they can beat anybody. They've shown it this season. They blew the Dolphins out earlier this season. Did we forget that? They've beaten good teams. And they almost beat the Eagles a few weeks ago, but they lost in a close one. They can beat anybody. Okay, they have the potential, they have the roster, they have the manpower to beat anybody in the playoffs. They are definitely contenders. Now, the Browns, they are probably the weirdest team this season. I don't know if they're as weird as the Steelers, but they've definitely had a weird season. So they're 8-5 now, and they're second in the AFC North. And Joe Flacco is under center. Nobody predicted that in this season. I thought he was gone. I did not think we would see him ever again. But he's an experienced guy who can manage a game, which he has shown several times. And with that defense that the Browns have, they're going to be a tough team to come across for the rest of the season, including in the playoffs. But I'm going to have to say they're pretenders because besides Amari Cooper, and not even really Amari Cooper, they don't have big-time, consistent offensive playmakers. They have good players. Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Jerome Ford, they're good players. They're not bad. They can make plays every now and then, but they're not guys who are going to consistently be the reason that you win. Okay, they're not big-time offensive playmakers consistently. Okay, so I'm going to have to say that they're pretenders. Now the Broncos, another interesting team this season. They're 7-6 now and have put together a very impressive 6-1 run since week 9. But I'm going to have to say they're pretenders because they simply don't have the manpower. They simply don't have the manpower to beat a Bills team in the wild card and then go on to play a Chiefs team in the divisional round and then go on to the conference championship and play the Baltimore Ravens. They just don't have the manpower to do it all. They might win a wild card game. They won't win a divisional round against a Chiefs team or a Ravens team or even a Browns team. So I'm going to have to say that they're pretenders despite the fact that they have played extremely well over the last 7 weeks. And finally, the Houston Texans. Again, another team that has put together a very impressive season. They're 7-6. Nobody expected them to be this good. They were expected to be bottom of the barrel this season. CJ Stroud and Tank Dell have lifted this team way past what people thought they could be. But those are the two players that are injured. Tank Dell's out for the season, and CJ Stroud is now in concussion protocol. So not good. Your two best players, the reasons that you are as good as you are both out. CJ Stroud could possibly miss 2 or 3 weeks, and if you lose 2 or 3 games in a row, you're probably not going to win the playoffs in this conference. There's no way. If those guys are healthy, the Texans can beat anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care who you put in front of them. The Texans could beat anybody. That's how good they are. Without them, the Texans aren't going anywhere. They're not a good team without those two. So, for the time being, the Texans are pretenders. And I'm gonna have to put Baltimore out there because they have the best record in the AFC, and they are definitely contenders to me. They have a very well-rounded team, a great defense. Lamar Jackson is playing at an MVP level, and receivers are making plays. They're running the ball well. Isaiah Likely, he's stepped up. Okay, he's been playing very well, giving them a lot. So those are the guys for the AFC. We've got the Dolphins, pretenders, Bills, contenders, Browns. You know, because of how good that defense is, I know I said pretenders earlier, but I'm going to have to say that they're contenders, okay? This is a very... That defense is something else. That defense is special, okay? I'm going to have to say pretenders just because of how good that defense is. Then we got the Texans, pretenders, and the Ravens, obviously contenders. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace out.